Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. We're going to get started with a couple of the normal starting things. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and start posting them in the Q&A, and we'll be happy to discuss for today. In the meantime, while everyone is having a chance to join in and ask some questions, I want to go over a couple of our normal things. My name is Jeremy. I'm one of the training members. I'll be leading our call for today. A couple things that I'd just like to invite everyone to check out if you're interested. We got a couple things, our YouTube channel, Decisions Training YouTube channel. If you're interested in any content or really cool things, check that out. We post lots of content up there when we come up with great ideas and things to highlight, as well as all of our lunch and learns and things that get posted on there. So you can check that out. We also have Solutions Marketplace, really great place to check out if you want to display different things or try to use some of our different applications and stuff in different ways. So there's a lot of really cool pre-built things that you could check out there. And then finally, we have our decisions.com/events. So if we have any kind of events and things like that, that you're interested in, or you're curious about what kind of things we have coming up, you can check out decisions.com/events and see a number of things that we have coming. So if there's anything that might be interesting to you, or that you're interested in joining or curious about, you can check those things out there as well. So I'm going to flip over my screen just to show that super quick. And then we have a couple questions already loaded up so I can start to discuss some stuff. So here's where you can find your events, though. I just wanted to highlight this really quick because we have our roadmap review, which is a bi-weekly review of all the things that are coming up and stuff like that. So you can register for that webinar. And there's also a couple other upcoming events and things in the near future. So some summit things and stuff like that. So if you're curious, you can definitely check those things out. And if you're going to be available, then that might be something interesting for you. So definitely think about checking those things out. All right, with that in mind, we have a couple questions. So we can go ahead and start discussing some of those things. First question we have is from Dongmei. So Dongmei, I'll let you speak so you can add to it, but I'll read your question out loud for everyone. What is the best way to migrate data from dev to prod? The data is in a customized table. So you have anything to add or expand on what you're looking for here?
Yes. Hi, hello, Jeremy. We kind of like want to migrate data, the data itself. So data is on dev, but we want to migrate data to the production, and the table is all our own table, not the decisions system table, just our own table. But we kind of discussed several ways, but I'm not so sure what's the best way to do it. Sometimes we think maybe just run query on production server, or sometimes we even think use SFTP to export data to a third server, then import the document CSV file to the production, then import the table. Or sometimes I'm thinking about maybe use web service to do the inbound call, outbound call, or something like that to migrate the data. But I just want to hear from you, what's the best practice to do that?
Got it. Okay.
Is there a way inside decision, maybe you already have some built-in thing to do that? That would be great.
I think here. So yeah, obviously if it's something outside of decisions, right? Like just the data itself, it's going to be a little different than just saying, because obviously anything that you build within decisions that's attached to your project, that should just go through.
The data is inside decision, is in decision dev, but I just want to move from decision dev environment to production environment, but it's all inside the decisions.
Right. Is it like, like for example, if I create like a case entity or something like that inside my project and I'm saving that case entity, and then I want to push that data through, you're talking about that specific data?
Yeah. Something like that.
That doesn't automatically get pushed through if it's part of the project and attached to the project. It should persist between the two.
You mean that when I migrate the project, it not only migrates the data table structure, also will migrate the data? I don't think so. The data, I need the data itself, not only the data structure. And also the table is really very simple table, just one, let's say, data structure, very simple data. Just want to migrate from dev to production. Is that the way I can do it? Like maybe make a web service code between those two servers, dev and production, how we communicate to each other.
Hmm. What let me ask this. For the data that you're trying to that you do want to push forward, is it like data that's saved under a specific data type or like data structure? Like is it a
Yes.
case entity? Is it an entity? What is that?
Yes, it's a really simple data, just like I actually what it's just like a data structure. Yeah,
Got it. So just a regular database
yeah, regular
structure,
data.
like the most
Yeah,
simple ones.
yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Let me see here, Bill. If I
Can I
grab
do
this.
maybe web service call to like outbound from dev to production? Is that possible?
So yeah, so some of the suggestions that you're making, I think, would be doable. Um, this, let me grab this. This is what I was trying to grab to highlight here. I can put this in the chat, but I think this should be pretty self-explanatory looking at what this says here.
Export data.
Um, but specifically for uh, the exporting of like just data itself, um, the entities you can have linked to the project, but any of the other data structures cannot directly be tied to the project. I think this in my mind is what I was thinking of when I was mentioning the project thing. But so any of this other data and stuff, you're not going to have initially tied to the project. So in that case, you're going to have to go through some kind of alternate method, like you were mentioning, to send your data to the other project. From
Yeah.
personal experience, I don't necessarily know the best way to do that. If there's like an optimal way to make sure that that data gets created, but even if it's just something as simply like taking a CSV of the data and then saving it on prod to make sure that it's there, like should work just fine if you just need to get the correct amount of data into that like location. Like I know that was one of the things you had mentioned. It should be just fine to do that, if especially if it's just a simple database structure that you're using it for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
So
and
it's in
again, then
CSV,
this
yeah.
point doesn't apply because you don't have process stuff or assignments associated with it. It's just simply data that needs to get resaved. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, if you just do something
But
like that,
I
you
think the
should have no
only
problem.
drawback with CSV is you have to have another server involved, like the FTP server. You need to put the CSV file to another FTP server, then draw that CSV file from production to it. Yeah, kind of like
Right.
it will have another server involved. So is that possible? Is that easy use web service between dev and production?
If that's the case, then I don't see a problem connecting it in that way.
But if I do that, what's the URL? I'm kind of like try to make a web hook, like a service outbound from dev outbound to production. But when they ask for the URL, I'm not sure how I can find that service URL.
If we're talking about so anything that has the ability to have a webhook or something with indecisions, you'll see that available. So like if I just open up a flow and I want to set that up here, like you see I can publish this flow specifically as a webhook or API service or something. Same applies
Okay.
to like the rules and other things and decisions that have capabilities for certain things like this. And as soon as I choose that type to say, let's say this is the flow that has the data in it or something that's calling the data or saving the data or something, or pulling that, I can set it up as a webhook. And then when I hit view, it opens up another tab for me with the integration details. And
Oh
the
yeah.
details with this will include URL, like any other like information if I need to like log in have like that kind of data available, right? Like I know in
Yes.
our training we do named sessions to
Oh,
to
yeah.
set that up and stuff like that as well to make that available so that you can call to
So,
that thing.
yeah. So you think that maybe also is a way can do it, right?
Yes.
Use the web service.
Because then, yeah,
Okay.
because you could have that flow have the details that you need or that pull the data that you need to then send it so that
Mhm.
it can get saved. And there we go. So like here's
I see.
an example. Like it gives me
Now
the
I got the
URL and
case.
everything that I need to
Oh,
reach out to it properly.
yeah. Okay. I'll try that way then. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's answered my question.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
All right, we've got another question from Joe, so I will let you talk and read your question out loud. Our second question for the day is, how do you add an image to a sub-dialog button?
Or is it even possible? It says
Find
it
out.
is.
All right, sub-dialog button. You said it says it is. Does it say, where does it
Yeah,
say that?
I went into Dart and I asked, and it said you have to style the button with an image, but it didn't know how to style a button. I don't know how to style a button other than the CSS class, maybe.
It might be referring to CSS. If it's saying that. That's about text. That's the drawer function.
There is a subdialog image button.
Oh, is that a separate one?
Mm-hmm. But
Ah,
in that case, you would only get the image as opposed to like an image inside of a button with text.
that's okay. Like,
Okay.
so if you wanted to make an image called like save or something, like a
Yeah.
standard save or something.
Yep.
So there's an image button. Oh, I didn't really realize
Yes.
that. Can they just be replaced, or is this going to kill me when I have to replace a button? It's like replacing
Um,
anything in this program is always a challenge.
yeah, you should be able to
Just make a new button and link the flow to it.
mm,
I don't think you can
maybe not
because it jumps immediately to
to
editing
a
an
new
existing
one.
flow.
That's a pain. What you could do. Mm, I'm thinking on the subdialog button, there isn't like a behavior or display as to be able to switch it to an image.
Mm-mm,
I didn't see that. Yeah,
no.
you might have to reconfigure it, but to get kind of around that, Jeremy, correct me if I'm wrong. Could you put your old subdialog that's connected to the regular button inside of a subflow, and then you'd just be able to call that subflow, so you
Yes,
don't have to rebuild the whole thing.
that was the suggestion I was gonna
Yeah.
make.
Yeah, cool.
So
All right,
you can
I'll
just
shut up
simply
now.
take, like, let's say I have these two things, you just
Hmm.
highlight them and create a subflow out of them. They'll be
Mhm.
in a flow. It won't be hidden because this is just a regular subflow. Like, this subdialog flow is a hidden flow. So if I just highlight just these two steps, make them a subflow and just call this my subdialog created subflow or whatever, and say like this has all the stuff that I need in it, create my subflow from this. Now it puts it in a subflow, and then on my new one with my image button now, I can search for subdialog and I should find that subflow.
Yep. So I
So then
soon
I
did.
don't have to reconfigure everything. The only thing is maybe doing a little bit of mapping on the outside of that subflow. I might have to do some quick reconfiguring, but everything else should be without having to fully reset it.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say it's on our roadmap to condense these and have them
Yeah, because you give the
easier.
ability to change a button into a link
Yeah,
or a button into an image, but you can't do it with a
can't
subdialog
go.
button.
Yeah, yep.
And just
It
all you
is on
need
the
is a little,
roadmap to condense
yeah,
these things. So
that'd be great.
yeah, it doesn't help you right now, but It's a little workaround.
I don't think I had anything else. Hold on, let me just check.
Sure.
I asked this before, but I'm not sure if two things I actually need to know. Is it possible to move to a specific row in a advanced data grid? Meaning you have 100 rows, you go to the 50th row and you click the row, and then below is the details, let's say, of the row you're clicking. So the grid is used like as a picker. And then you
Mhm.
make some changes to the details and you hit save. And now, unless you refresh the grid, your grid still has the old data. So if you go to refresh the grid, you'll end up on row 1.
Right.
And is there a way to scoot down to row 50 if you've saved that before you actually hit the save button? So it
I
puts you
remember.
back on the same. I tried to do it. I think I asked this question and I couldn't get it to work, and I was just wondering if there's an easier way.
Yes, I remember. I think I was the one that was on when we were talking about this. Is this the one?
You said an advanced data grid is nothing more than a report.
Yeah, it gets sourced by the report. So there was, I don't remember if I still have it in here. There was something that we discussed where there's a field that you can use within reports. A setting here somewhere. If I can remember where it was. The row selection configuration. Um, the you can have it select a row from a parameter and set up a selection bus that would send some parameter to your URL. Just name it whatever you name it here, and then have your flow that you're using that saves the data, like also send something to that parameter to note the like specific row that you need. And then it would have that be the selected row.
So the parameter name is what? Like a create data step or no? That you would
What the parameter does is it sets a value, like setting these parameters allow you to put a value into the URL so that you could pull data from the URL to then, get replaced somewhere else or to like show it. So you could use it. It's popularly used within filters to allow you, if you have like a dashboard with this image or with this like report displaying on it, I could actually have the this or like clicking on a button or doing some kind of change, send data up here to the top and like get values from other reports is how it would work. And then it would put data up here at the top. And so that it puts something up here, like you can kind of see how it has report ID equals. That's the parameter name of this report ID. And then this is the actual data itself that gets sent. So the same thing would apply on the actual on this setting here. This parameter name would set, like I put param here, then it would add into the URL for me, like add param equals, and then wherever you're getting the data from, like you would at the end, you'd put that
Mhm.
value up here at the top. So then it gets sent up into that same exact parameter name. So then what this would do is this is going to look for the thing that sets param to equal some value so that it knows which row to have it selected.
Okay, I will give that another shot. Is there anything that I got to do to the server for cleaning it up from time to time? Just watch this space. Is there anything else that I got to do from a maintenance point of view?
I guess it just the depends a little bit more. I guess it depends on the specifics of what you're trying to like what you want to clean up. But a lot of it's just going to be, um, yeah, I guess just tracking how much space you have and making sure you're not losing how much or however much you want to have available. I don't know if
Yeah, I
there's
mean, there's a
good best
there's a
practices on
function that lets the users upload documents. So those documents are going into C program files, decisions, server, so on and so forth, and they're getting stored in that directory somewhere down there. I would
Mhm.
imagine after so many years, right, that would start to build up. And so I guess what I'm asking is only looking at the this size, how much free space you have is probably the first thing you would want to do for any server. But is there anything else besides that that I need to do from decisions point of view to clean anything up, or is that automatic and ongoing?
There are definitely some settings that you can like mess around with if you want to like do things such as like archiving data that's like certain like age or whatever, like old of a certain point. Like there's actual an archive settings thing that you can set. So if you have things that are marked you can mark things to become archived at certain points. And as it reaches like those states or as it gets marked as archived, you can actually have it delete, or you can move all that data to like a separate database if you don't want to like lose it, which I think is probably the optimal way, because or in some cases that might be optimal. You don't want to lose all the data, but you don't want it to all be in that same place so that you don't have to worry
Mm-hmm.
as much about space. And so you can actually have it like archive on daily schedules and like run these settings to just make sure that it's archiving properly after like so long and moving it to the correct location or whatever. I think by default this is off. So you can come in here and like set these things. And you can set things to become archived at certain points. So if they are sitting in your database for a year or something like that, you can mark them as archived. Um, and things like that. So like even if you were to like right click on some entity, um, and like if I were to delete this demo flow, for example, uh, of course I'm using it somewhere. Like if I were to delete it, then I can go and I look at like all of my deleted flows and things, and see any of my deleted flows. You can actually delete them or archive them, unarchive them, things like that. And so you can actually mark them and set like an archive date and stuff like that if you want to actually have them properly get archived, and then allow the archive settings can do that automatically for certain intervals and things like that for you.
Okay, that's pretty much it. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. All right, that's all the questions we had in our Q&A for now. Anyone else have any additional questions? Otherwise, we can end a little early today.
Um,
All
Oh, I
right.
do have a question.
Okay.
Um, I noticed I brought this up before. I'm not sure if you guys actually made a bug fix. If you're tabbing order through a bunch of fields, and one of the fields is a drop down, and you set the value of the drop down so that you cannot enter data, meaning there's a little option that says, must pick from the list or can't
Yeah,
enter
like
your own
disable
data or whatever
typing, stuff like
disable
that.
typing.
Yep.
Yep, that's the one. And if you tab through that, it just goes right over it. It doesn't stop at a tab.
Interesting.
So so I want to make it so you can't type something in there. So I disabled the typing.
Uh-huh.
And then when you try to tab, it just goes right past that one.
It would just go from, like in my case, it would go from number box right to select date. You mean?
Yeah,
Interesting.
yes. You can try it.
Yeah, let me see if I can test that real quick. Oh yeah, it does it. Yeah, you're right. That's interesting.
And the same thing for a multi-select checkbox. Throw a multi-select checkbox up there.
Is there a different name?
Type in check. Just type in check.
This one or the list?
Checkbox list. That's it. So you throw a couple of static values in there, or I don't even know if you need to, but
There is a DT in for this one. It just hasn't been worked yet. And because it hasn't been worked, I will add the check. Is it you said the checkbox list?
let's make sure the checkbox isn't working because it wasn't working for me. I'm just curious to see if he can get it to go.
Yeah.
First number box skips that one, and then this should go. It went to something.
If it goes to
Okay.
something, press the space bar and then see if it lights up one of those.
It's not doing anything to the checkboxes, but it's not going to the submit button, which should be next in my tab order. So it looks like it's similar. Because I definitely can't do anything to hit a checkbox. But it's not skipping it in the same way that the drop down one does. But yeah, definitely still something not there.
Okay, maybe you want to just make a note of that and hopefully that
Yep.
gets fixed on the next run around or.
I can hit the arrow key. The arrow keys jumps to it actually. If I can tab to it. If I get tabbed to it, I can use the arrow keys to jump between the checkboxes. And then
Oh, so I mean you
then once I
land
do
on it
that,
with a tab,
yeah,
but then
so I am
you can
landing on it
use
with the
arrows.
tab, but nothing works until I hit the arrow keys. Then I can
You can't hit
check
the
the
space
boxes.
bar.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Space bar. That
Checkboxes. I just had to
okay.
hit
So
I had to use the arrow keys first once I got tabbed to it.
got you, and then the space bar to select it.
Yep.
So you don't have to use the mouse. I'm trying to get away from using the mouse. Is my point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it still skips
okay,
the
so
drop
that's
down, but then once I tab to here, I hit the arrow keys, and now I can jump between them.
okay.
And check boxes with space.
Okay. I think that's it.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we will go ahead. We can end a little bit early today. Thank you for joining. Thanks for the questions, everybody. We will continue. I believe it might be Jared or Gregory on the schedule for tomorrow, but we will continue our lunch and learns as normal. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see everybody next time.